Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be working on Stevo the Evo. We're going to be fitting an upgraded rear anti-roll bar. Now before I tell you why I'm going to fit that and what difference it's going to make to Stevo, I thought I'd share with you my t-shirt. Now I've made a t-shirt design with Stevo the Evo on the front. It's got a cool little bit of artwork going on. If you want to pick one of these t-shirts up, check out the link in the description. Only £9.99, so they're pretty much as cheap as I could sell them. I think I make about 70 pence to £1 on every one that sells. So if you want to show a bit of support for the channel, or you have a blue Evo and you want to get a nice t-shirt, well, check out the link below to get your Stevo t-shirts. So why would you want to fit a anti-roll bar to an Evo anyway? Well, firstly, they've already got anti-roll bars, but the one I'm going to be putting on is a thicker anti-roll bar, and it's also adjustable. So the thicker anti-roll bar going on the back is basically going to make the car a bit more tail happy, and it's going to reduce understeer. So it'll have a more tendency to lift off oversteer. Now when cars come out of the factory, even the most aggressive track cars from factory, such as an Evo or any performance car really, they're still relatively safe most of the time. They're never going to be like proper race car setup, otherwise they wouldn't really be road legal. You know, Mitsubishi wouldn't have been able to get it through all the tests that they had to. But fitting a rear anti-roll bar, we can really get the most out of the chassis and minimize any understeer with the car. So that's why we're going to fit the anti-roll bar. Now it should be pretty simple. I think we can even do it with the wheels on. I'll try and do it with the wheels on. Just jack up the car and we'll take you from there. So I'll meet you when Stevo's in the air and I'm underneath with the new anti-roll bar. So let's go. Okay, so Stevo's now jacked up in the air and both wheels are off the ground. That's very important when working with anti-roll bars, because if each side of the car is not off the ground, you could put a lot of tension in that anti-roll bar, and when you come to undo it, you could hurt yourself. So it could seem pretty obvious to a lot of us, but maybe some of you weren't aware of that. So always jack up the whole axle when working with anything to do with anti-roll bars. Now then, we'll take a look underneath and we'll have a look at the factory anti-roll bar. Okay, so here we are under the car. It always looks much more brown and rusty on camera than it does in real life. I think it's the flashlight. It must just make it look worse than it is. But anyway, there's the nice coilovers. There's the AD8R tyres and the freshly refurbed rims. So it's all starting to look pretty nice under here. We got the Jan Speed exhaust system, which was on the car when I bought it. Quite a nice little surprise that was. And also then we got the refurbed AYC pump right there. So yeah, the car's really starting to come along now. But anyway, the rear anti-roll bar. This is the rear anti-roll bar. So we basically got to undo these two end links. So there's an end link that side, and end link that side. Then we've got a bracket there to undo, a bracket there to undo, and then we should be able to remove this anti-roll bar without actually taking the exhaust or the wheels off. So that's the plan. So yeah, let's crack on. Now you might notice that my hair's suddenly run a bit longer and I don't have a beard anymore. Well, yes, I thought I could, if I took my time, get these off without damaging them. That's very, very rarely the case. You most likely are gonna, anytime you take a drop link off, you're probably gonna break them. There's just not really a way to get them off without munching them up. They look pretty manky anyway. So what I've had to do in the meantime is order some Whiteline anti-roll bar drop links. So these are specifically designed for the rear of an Evo 10. Those orange things are just covers. So yeah, just take my advice. Don't bother trying to reuse the old ones. Just get Whiteline ones. Budget it into the job, because then you can have new drop links, new anti-roll bar bushes, and a new anti-roll bar. So, you know, really want to do a proper job of it. And even if you want to skimp, you're not likely to be able to even reuse them. Now then, comparisons between the two anti-roll bars. Now, the Whiteline one has 3 holes on it. The factory one has 1. That basically, what you can do is you can change where the drop link goes on this anti-roll bar. Different settings will act in different ways. So the longer way will increase the leverage that the suspension can apply to the anti-roll bar. So that will effectively reduce the thickness, and that will effectively increase the thickness on the inside one. So long story short, inside hole on the rear of an Evo 10, that will increase your oversteer. So lift off oversteer, minimize understeer. And if you're finding it's too tail happy, then you want to put it on the outside one. That will give you the most possible understeer, and the middle one is sort of like a middle ground. Now realistically, they're not going to make a massive amount of difference no matter what hole it goes in, but it's, you know, it just gives you a bit of adjustability. So between this, the coilovers and the damper settings and the alignment, we should be able to get a neutrally handling car. Now then, let's fit it. But first, I'm gonna have a coffee break. Right, so let's get the anti-roll bar into Stevo. Okay, so the anti-roll bar's in, and we just got to fit these rubber bushes. Once the rubber bushes are on the bar, we just got to fit on the anti-roll bar clamp that we just painted and cleaned up. And once they're fit, we'll have to add on these little sort of guides to stop the bar from swaying side to side. So I'll pass the camera over to Nathaniel. So you can see the holes here where the bracket would have gone. Now the instructions say in multiple places not to oil these up. So usually you would put a bit of grease on these bushes, but it says do not, they don't need it. So we're not going to. So I've set my torque wrench to 21 Newton meters, which is what the Mitsubishi manual shows. So the brackets are installed, the bushes are installed, the anti-roll bar is central. Now we're just going to torque it up, and then we're going to apply the clamps to stop it moving. Hopefully we can fit them after I've torqued it up, because it's already tight now. And that's the importance of torquing. I thought they were tight, because they are pretty tight, but obviously there's probably another 4 rotations on each of those bolts before they've become torqued. Okay, so we just torqued them up, as you saw. Now I fit this locking ring. Now what this does is it stops the side to side play of the anti-roll bar, because it's not really supposed to move side to side, and it can do without these rings in place. So you can separate them to 2 parts. So you just put the one side on the other side, and then obviously this side. Put the bolts through. Watch out. And then, can you see? Yeah. And then you just slide it up flush, and then you slowly tighten up the bolts. So yeah, it's that easy. So that will stop the bar moving in that direction too much, and then we'll do the same on the other side, but I won't video that. I'll just show you this one side because it's the same for both. Okay, so it's all fully installed. New bushes, repainted the clamps, cleaned them up, got the locking rings on, and it goes down then to the other side. So they're in. The anti-roll bars move in if I turn it with my hand, so that's good. Shows that nothing binding. So just going to fit the drop links now. So once I get out of the car, we can take a look. So it's quite simple really. One hole goes in there, the other hole goes into the anti-roll bar at whatever setting you want it to be on. Now beforehand, you want to match this. It's an adjustable Whiteline drop link. You want to match that to the length of your factory ones, maybe even a little bit shorter if possible. Now these are wound in as far as they can go. So all I have to really do now is decide on what anti-roll bar setting I want it to be on. Now I'm probably going to put it on, I was thinking, I'm just going to go for maximum oversteer, but you know, that could bite me. So what I think I'll do, I'll put it on the middle setting just for now, and then when I go to the track, I'll tweak it there. Actually, nah, let's go for max oversteer, who cares. Okay, so just before we do fit it though, we have to fit a couple of washers to the drop link. So we put one on before we fit the drop link, and then we put a couple of washers on the other side with the nuts. So I'll fit that off camera and I'll show you when it's done. Yeah boy, starting to look pretty good now. External reservoir coilovers, Whiteline drop links installed. Torque them up, 35 foot-pounds. That's the official torque spec for them. Painted up the brackets, got the locking rings on, goes over then, and then the same on the other side. So the anti-roll bar install and drop link install is now complete. All we have to do is put the wheels on, take the car off axle stands. But I won't be doing that, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So why am I not putting the back wheels back on Stevo? Well, the work is not finished. If you remember, a few months ago, I said that I'm building it to do a few track days, and obviously with COVID, lost my job as well, partly made redundant, so I had to set up my own business. That's sort of taken my attention, but now we're back on Stevo. Now, while the time has been going, we haven't been making too many Evo videos. I have been buying parts, doing research, and figuring out where I want to go with the car. So I'll show you what parts I've got to install, and I'll tell you what parts will be going on in the next video. So I'll just turn the camera around. So excuse the mess. This is just after obviously fitting the anti-roll bar stuff. So a few tools about. So got these gyro discs. I've not fit a single second-hand part to this car yet. This is the first part, but I got these for £100 off eBay. Brand new. They're over, I can't remember exactly, they're about £700 to £900, so they're very expensive, and I thought I'm not paying 10, 8, 9 times the price for brand new ones, especially when these are in really good nick. So they're actually upgraded discs for the rear. So if you have a look here, I've only done 1,000 miles in this car since I bought it, so those pads must have been really low when I bought it, and they're down to the metal literally, and they've been eaten through the discs. Now I know that's absolutely terrible. You're probably thinking, I can't believe he got an Evo and he's let the pads get that low. But if you've been following the project, you will know that this car started off life very, very rough, and I have been working through it. You know, I've got to prioritize. I've got the tires done, the wheels done, suspension done. Now we're going to be getting to the brakes. So yeah, the brakes are going to be done. We're going to be doing a full overhaul. Calipers, they're coming off, they're being painted. New pads, new rear discs, new pads on the front, redo the calipers on the front, new fluid, and new brake lines. So I've got all the parts here to do that. We've got the discs, we've got the Carbotech XP10 pads. Now they are proper, you know, hardcore track pads. Same for the rear. Here we've got some braided brake lines. I believe they're a Hell kit, ordered from Ross Sport. So yeah, always go to Ross Sport for all my stuff when I'm buying Evo stuff. you sometimes find on eBay, especially if you're paying, you know, £300 for a set of pads, like, you wouldn't know if that was a fake, that would actually cost a tenner. You wouldn't know. So you really got to buy from a reputable company that you trust are not going to rip you off. You trust that are going to give you the real product. And basically Rossport, they've always sorted me out. So that's who I go to for my Evo stuff. Now, one power mod we've got, actually, I'll show you that last. A roll center correction kit we have here. Now, because we've lowered the car with the coilovers, that's going to improve the handling, but they might not be working to their full potential without a roll center correction kit. So we've lowered the car, and that would have actually messed up the very complicated geometry that Mitsubishi have designed into the front suspension. Now, this will actually correct for that, and we're going to get the most handling out of those coilovers. So it's quite an expensive kit for what it is. But with everything else that's been tired and worn out on the car, I thought we might as well replace the tie rod ends and the ball joints with some upgraded roll center correcting ones. So a good maintenance task and also an upgrade at the same time. Here I have a lightweight battery. I'll be making a video on fitting that soon. So that weighs about 1/3 to 1/4 of the weight of the original battery that was in the Evo. And just a little bit of weight saving. I know it won't make much difference, but it does all add up. Now, you would have seen when we done the dyno run, Stevo only made 270 horsepower at Indigo GT. Now, I stand by the fact I think it's a slightly low reading dyno. The old dyno was quite high reading and the new one is low reading, but that's another topic. I did actually find quite a big vacuum leak on the car, which has been fixed and has transformed the way the car drives. So I do think that was a contributing factor, maybe, or maybe it didn't affect the power, but it definitely has improved the way the car drives. However, I here have a Grimspeed 3-port boost control solenoid kit. Now, once I actually fit this to Stevo, if we get it remapped, we should be looking at around 400 horsepower. 385 to 400, I think, is a reasonable sort of figure, and that's at the flywheel. So on a bog standard Evo, with nothing but a decap and one of them, you're looking around 400 horsepower. So quite a few parts to fit to Stevo and a lot of videos on the way. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you're excited to see Stevo back, be sure to like, remember to click subscribe if you're not already, and also consider picking up a Stevo t-shirt. Cheers, guys.